Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Court Talk, So Walk, and I am your host, Juju. I just want to say once again, thank you guys for tuning in. It really means a lot to me. So, we're just going to get right into it. So, today we are going to be talking about trust. Yes, that is the word of the day, trust. And I know a lot of us have trusted many people in our lives, have trusted friends, boyfriends, girlfriends, family members, business partners, so forth and so on. But trust is such a tricky topic because everybody will view trust differently because of how they value it and 360, right? I feel like people need to stop treating trust or stop acting like trust is something you just give away like it's like fucking spirit change or some fuck. Real trust is 360, okay? Because I believe it starts and ends with the person that is in the mirror. You versus you, like in a sense. And I know we only like what 3 months into the year. And I know everybody seems to be busy curating a vibe for just say social media. And to me, it seems like people are out here chasing receipts and surveillance because they don't trust their own judgment to see the red flags waving in their own fucking face. So if you're performing a version of yourself that you don't actually trust to fail, you're living like in a deck. You've got to get to a place where you trust your own ability to remain standing regardless of what anyone else does, but what anyone else says. I feel like that's the only way to gain that self power. Like you cannot be the CEO of everybody else's behavior or whatever they do, how they act, so forth and so on. Contrast, you need to put all that effort into leading your own life. Trust is something that is not built in the light, it is built in the dark. And in those moments, in those quiet moments where, you actually keep all those promises, little thoughts to yourself. You get what I'm saying? You have to be able to figure you out before you can step outside in the world to figure everybody else out, if that makes sense to you. In my opinion, people may not know who they are 100%. Okay, like when it comes to their values, trust, who they trust, how they put trust on the table, and so forth. When it comes to certain times and certain places, certain scenarios, certain situations where trust is off balance a little bit because there are other factors influencing that trust. I feel like people, us, me, myself, and I included, we have to learn to trust our own intuition over the cloud. And before, I don't mean this in no type of way, but we live in a world that tries to tell, you who you are before you wake up, before you do whatever your daily routine. And if you don't trust your own voice, you'll basically end up echoing everybody else's. Okay. Trusting yourself means being okay with probably being the villain in someone else's story because you choose your peace over their drama. It's about knowing that even if you make a mistake, you have the tools to fix it. Just remember, you are the only person who is going to be with you for every second of your life. So I feel like we need to start acting that way, start acting like the person that we're actually stuck with. Stop looking for external validation for an internal job. Like, if you don't bet on yourself, why should anyone else? And when you think about it, right, everybody may not see you for how you see yourself, and that's okay. But trusting yourself and knowing who you are as a person is the best thing you can have as an individual. Okay. If you trust yourself, if you know who you are within, that shows. And people can kind of ride that vibe and genuinely fill you out as a person. Okay. And once you have figured out the internal flex within yourself, and now that motion gradually moves on to your circle, what I would say is the thing that comes with trusting, you know, yourself. I feel like trusting yourself comes with fear. And I say that because me as an individual being close to 30, reminiscing on moments where I felt like I should have trusted myself more, but because fear found its way, well, not found, the fear I allowed to basically divide me trusting myself at a certain capacity. Okay. It's happened. And trusting yourself, also comes with believing in yourself. I feel like where I'm at right now in my life, I'm actually starting to believe in myself and to trust me and to trust my instincts, to trust my mental. And just to trust myself as an individual. And to be honest, like when I think about it, if somebody was to ask me, like, why wouldn't you trust yourself? Why are you so afraid? And I guess, like, the one honest answer I will sit there and say is because I felt like I couldn't do it. I felt like I wasn't good enough. I felt like I, was in a competition, um, mentally, like, and also at the same time too, I kind of like, I've always used to find myself in situations mentally, I would rather say, that if I see something that I felt like that I could do, or, any task, or felt like something that I could accomplish, and I probably seen somebody else doing it, I would probably be like, oh shit, like I don't want to seem like I'm a biter, like, or I'm trying to copy something that somebody else is doing. So I already had let fear and the negativity like kind of cloud my judgment of who I am as an individual. I didn't trust myself to basically succeed. I basically put the negative shit in my own head. And now, like listening, like, just talking, like hearing me talk about this puts me, not say puts me, it makes me think about like, damn son, like all the things you probably could have accomplished back then, if you weren't so afraid and if I just trusted myself, whether if, I succeeded or not. And that's the thing. It's not about always winning. It's just about, growing as an individual, just being a better person, the experience, gaining like, gaining growth through experience and being able to shed that on to others, like, your peers and whatnot. And that is something that I've always battled with from a young girl. I'm just happy that I'm in a place right now where I am starting to trust myself in the things that I want to do, the person that I want to become, the people that I want to attract, trust in me just overall to love me, like, better than I ever did before. And I feel like that's something that we have to pay attention to because we won't be able to trust people correctly or just say thoroughly because we don't trust ourselves probably thoroughly. Second guessing, I want my trust to be at a certainty level, like regardless if I have the proof or not. No, whether or not if I fail or succeed at my next task, I'm going to be content and trust myself that, what, regardless, I'm going to go do this. I'm not going to let nothing get in my way. And that is the type of like, attitude that I want to continue to have, the attitude that I spread amongst you listeners because we need that type of sense of encouragement, especially like in this day and age. We can't allow ourselves to cloud our own mind with that type of negative energy, bad judgment. So, moving along, I do want to talk about like what is trust and like friendships. And I feel like people confuse trust and loyalty when it comes to friendships. Okay. And to me, honestly, I feel like people have been like completely brainwashed to think that loyalty is like the ultimate like badge of honor. Like, but let me be real with you. Loyalty is, in my opinion, it's often just like, yeah, loyalty is often just an anchor. Trust is a compass for where you're going. Loyalty is a receipt for where you've been. Okay. It's necessary for us like one necessary truth that we need to realize is that you can honor the history of a friendship without giving the current toxic version of it at a seat at the table. If it's not safe for your peace in this current time, that sandbox history or whatever doesn't give them a permanent pass to ruin your future. Basically, don't let a shared past between you two force you into a compromised future. Keep in mind, you can love them from a distance, but stop letting old love keep you in a new cage. And that's the thing, like loyalty, people really will drag loyalty through the mud for various reasons. Like they will like hang you on it. Like streetwise, they expect you to be loyal to the streets because this is something that you signed up for. They don't give a fuck if you got 10 daughters and one son. Okay. Friends want you to be loyal because they don't want you to do certain things, certain girl codes, certain guy codes, people and family, like, family relationships, the loyalty because what? They're your fucking family, whatever, But honestly, like, to me, I'm a type of person like, how can you be loyal to somebody that you don't trust? Let's just think about that. How can you be loyal to somebody that you don't trust? Or how can you trust somebody and be loyal? Like, how can you not trust somebody and be loyal to them? That doesn't make sense. That's like sounds crazy to me. I cannot be with somebody, not trust them, but be loyal to them. It just sounds mind boggling. It's too much to like cramp on your mind, honestly. Loyalty is just something that basically represents you being 100 or just staying the course with something. Trusting somebody with loyalty, it should like really come hand in hand, but it doesn't. Okay, because you trusting somebody should come with certainty. Loyalty doesn't exactly come that way. People flip the script on loyalty just like they flip the script on trust. And therefore, now we have a bigger chaos situation. But I will say this, people can be loyal to people, but at some point in time, that loyalty has a place. And certain things should not follow you everywhere you go in life. And I'm going to just keep it there. Okay. Lastly, I want to talk about trust and relationships. And the thing about trust and relationships versus trust with friends. Let me ask you a question. What hurts the most? Something distrustful with your relationship partner or something distrustful with one of your close friends? And the thing is just like sometimes trust with friends hurts more than trust with the partner. And that's just my opinion. And I'm going to keep it honest with you because when you have a partner and certain things happen and you trust this person, it's a good bit of us that will go back to that person. It's a good bit of people where when they have friends and that trust is broken, they probably won't go back being with that, like being friends with that person because it's just like all bets are off. And the thing is, for me personally, like I'm guilty of that. Like I'm guilty of that. Like I don't have the perfect relationship, but I will sit there and say is trust is something that you would want to like always be like at an all time high in your relationship, like to trust your partner because these are like, different factors you have to include. Like, well, you're trusting your partner that they will respect your relationship outside of you, trusting that your partner will not do anything sexual outside of you and come back and bring you something. That's just like one thing by itself. Do you get what I'm saying? Versus a fucking friend, you don't have to fuck that friend, but there are a lot of you out there that be doing that, but that's none of my business. Anyway, trust with a friend is like hurtful, like that's hurt to me. Like I take trust in friends, like that friendship shit very seriously. I don't play that because if I trust you and I expect that you do like how I treat you, I expect you to do the same damn thing for me. You get what I'm saying? I don't cross those type of lines and boundaries with my friends when it comes to the trusting thing. That's just how I feel. But when it comes to the relationship shit, like I feel like a lot of us we go back because we feel like we can probably work on that and rekindle that because that's who we love and so forth and so on. And y'all can say whatever y'all want to say if y'all listening to that part with the cases, but y'all already fucking know y'all be fucking going back like, you get what I'm saying? All right. So don't judge me, go judge your mama. All right? Point blank, period. But not for real though. Not for real though. But let me finish out what I wanted to sit there and say. Trust and relationships are very vital, okay? Because it is kind of what makes or breaks a relationship. But the thing is, you really don't want to never break trust in relationship, like in your relationship with the person that you are sleeping with, because it brings hell. And shout out to the people who have been in situations with their partner where trust was, something that was being tested and you guys overcame it. So shout out to you guys, whoever you guys are. Shout out to you guys. Everybody does not have that journey, okay? But it does take effort, I do believe. But I just feel like it's something that you don't want to really play with. And I'm just, honestly, I'm just speaking on a real because even I was in a situation, okay, as far as where trust is involved with, my kids with their dad. And when you break that trust, people look at you differently. Doesn't matter the person that you were, it doesn't matter about the person you're becoming. People look at you like now, not only do they say that you're not loyal, they say that they can't trust you. And that's the thing, like, from what I said at the beginning, for whatever is going on, even if you don't have the proof to see it, you just want to be able to trust yourselves and do the right thing, honestly. Because once you fuck with trust, that shit is like a fucking egg, okay? Once you break an egg, you cannot put that shit back together. And I feel like just the whole thing on trust. People need to value trust like that, like an egg. Value trust like an egg. That's a good one. Value trust like an egg because it's fragile. It is something that is really hard to put back together. And yes, with the effort, you can get it back to as close as you can. But them little fine little cracks in it, it will cause something to seep through. And that's something that, like, some of us, we fail. We fail at. It's something that you can avoid at some point in time because we have made our own bed, so we have to lie in it. Okay. But we have to understand that, trust is something that you cannot play with. And then at the same time, trust is something that we all need to value because people play with trust whether or not like people play with trust on an everyday basis. People know that people trust them and they will still go out there and do shit to like, behind the scenes to show that like, well, listen, I'm I don't give a fuck what you do. I don't give a fuck how you feel. And as just like, a community, we just need to be all better with that. Okay. So this is all the time that I have right now, guys. I definitely do like to keep it a buck with you. I had to sneak in this episode um for Tuesday's episode. I am in the middle of midterms right now. It is a lot. I'm preparing for my interview with Kid Miro that is coming to my school in a week or so. On top of that, being a mom, I just had to shed a little light, and it is currently 1:43 a.m. I am supposed to release this episode. Well, it's supposed to drop at 5 a.m. But anything for my subscribers, my listeners, my little community that I have here, honestly, I know I don't do too much of the like talking of like, oh, like the behind the scenes of what's like really going on. But this is it right here. And I do have to get up at 6 a.m. to make sure I get my kids up, get them ready for school. And then once I get them on the bus, then I have to go to class. But I love it. I love it. But I'm doing this because if I didn't do it, I would have felt bad. And I feel like I gave myself a discipline, like, I'm just disciplining myself to, fall through for what I put my mind to. Even though I may be tired or exhausted, I definitely want to show you guys that I am dedicated to this, to this craft that I am building, my brand that I'm building. And I want you guys to be able to take me seriously, just, with anything that you see me that I do, and to let you guys know, like, shit, I'm doing this shit regardless. But yes, so I thank you guys for tuning in. When you guys hear this, it's going to be later on today. I'm already going to be probably halfway done with my day right now. Cause like I said, it's almost 2 o'clock in the morning and I still have to edit this when I'm finished, get a couple hours of rest and up to get the day started. But I'm happy. I'm happy. And and I thank God. Thank God that I'm in a position to even do this and to share my little, like, ones and oohs and twos and ahs with y'all. Thank you guys for tuning in. Okay. I'm your host, Juju, and this is Court Talk Soul Walk.